I'm sorry, I can't.
Notes for you over there.
Yeah, do you have notes on just things to read?
Where are you
and
gonna be, Angela?
Just read this.
Join me in the flag salute.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
Item 3, consent agenda. Several minutes of meetings there. Any corrections or comments?
Let's see
A lot of meetings.
there. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, financial fund reports.
It's you.
Sure.
Okay, for the Bethany Public School Activity Fund, we have a beginning balance this month of $734,802,097. We have an ending balance this month of $653,628.50. You can see the summary of activity accounts that follow. We have an encumbrance report for this month that you can see following that. Sorry, I'm trying to get the pages to flip.
Good.
And then we have the function summary report that you can see following that. Oh, did I miss a page? I missed the budget, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, so yes, I wanted to just discuss with you, so on page 17, the district general fund revenue sheet is there. You will not see anything in the appropriated columns because we don't have all of our appropriations in. And so as soon as we have those in, we should have those in for the next month. And then we do have a small amount of collections. Since it's August, we just are getting the federal program claims collections in from July that we've completed, but we should see more collections as the September board meeting comes up. And so we have right now a cash balance of $4,585,000 around about. And then the encumbrances and the function summary report. And that's all I have for you.
Quick question on item 191, class link. Remind me what class link is. That's something y'all use at the middle school, that's at the high school?
So
Yeah.
ClassLink is a.
Yeah, and he kind of runs it.
Okay, ClassLink is an online portal that syncs with Infinite Campus, and it allows, it's a place where all of the apps for the district are housed. So like if there is a curriculum or an online program that's available, students have one login, and they can log in and they can have access to their curriculum,
Okay.
their different programs, and all of that all in one place, so they're not having multiple different logins.
Okay. Yep, thank you.
And on 190, that smart water meter, is that just an upgrade or something, or is it maintenance?
190 is as a result of some of the construction that's taking place.
Oh,
We had to add a water meter through the city because of how the construction was taking place, and so it was actually a purchase that we made with the city.
okay.
For the chairs that are being ordered, are those all here already? Are they, I mean, as they wrap up the construction, will that be ready to go
I
then?
think I need to contact Joyce at Thompson's, but I think she said they probably will be here in time. If not, we'll get them pretty close to the first day, so, yeah.
Good. Good.
And do we have all the new computers? Are those in?
Getting close. Yeah, they're all shipped. I think some are getting here this week, and then probably get some more at the start of next week,
Yeah.
probably, so, yep.
Anything else? Okay. Motion on the consent agenda.
Move approval of item 3?
Second?
Roll call vote?
Jaggers.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Halsted.
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. Item 4, discussion possible action to approve or not approve the elementary and middle school student handbook revisions for fiscal year 24. Any questions on any of those?
Next thing, can we have it in color?
Yeah, the one that was sent was in color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not on
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I don't
Do
remember
that.
now
Yeah.
looking back. What,
I would tell you for elementary, it was time for a lot of just updates on things, some different ways we were doing things practically versus how they were still in the handbook, weren't aligned. We also took the opportunity, since we were doing that, to reorganize it a little bit, and so we've actually created a parent's guide separate from the handbook that's more practical for parents to not have to sift through all of the things. And so we took a piece of that out. It still had the same information, but it wasn't as technical. It was more of a guide for parents. So most of the change, there wasn't anything drastic within the changes. It was just kind of cleaning up some of the wording of things, and then there were a few things here and there, like what we do with a student who cheats. We had in there kind of a more structured, this happens every time, and we wanted to allow for a little bit more flexibility in how we approach those situations based on things. So all of the changes there were a lot, but they were just little technical things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I don't know, middle school.
Yeah.
Middle school, most of our changes were due with the attendance. It was at 10 days to meet with the state
Yeah.
mandate. It's 8 days now, so we changed that. Another thing that we changed was our exemptions on semester tests. We added in also no zeros because students were trying to get to a certain grade and they wouldn't turn in all the other work that they had because they just thought they could get to a D and then be fine. So we also included and no zeros,
I noticed
for
that.
exemptions. And then we did take away our exemption trips. We were starting to pay, everything was just outrageous. It's gone from $10 to 15 to 20. We were paying $3,000 for students to go on these trips. And then they would call the day of and say, well, they decided to spend the night with a friend, so they're not going to go on this trip. And we had already prepaid all of that, so we were losing a lot of money on that. So we decided they could stay home that day or come to school. And so we just took out those trips that were costing a lot of money.
And I saw something on social media post or something about that. I can't remember which school that was in.
Yeah, so that might have been us.
Okay.
We had some specific sites listed, and so we kind of just generalized that more to include any and all sites that could be potential,
Yeah.
issues down the road. So it was just kind of cleaning up that language a little bit to generalize it a little bit more.
Or if social media sites rename.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's only gonna be one because it's just all X.
Have a motion for 4.
Move approval item 4. Second.
Roll call vote.
Jaggers,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Wallstad,
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. Item 5, board to consider and takes action on motion to approve the renewal of the sublease agreement dated December 1st, 2020 between the district and Oklahoma County Finance Authority for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2024, as required under the provisions of the agreement. And that's just our,
Is that just regular housekeeping or is that
that's our
catching up on the
Standard.
QZABs?
regular
Standard.
lease
Yeah.
thing. One of them.
Motion to approve item 5.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Jaggers,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Wallstad,
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. Item 6, board to consider and take action on a motion approving the renewal of the sublease agreement dated August 1st, 2015 between the district and Oklahoma County Finance Authority for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2024, as required under the provisions of the agreement. That's the next one.
Move approval item 6.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Jaggers,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Wallstad,
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. Item 7, board to consider and take action on motion approving the renewal of the Qualified Zone Academy bond lease for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2024 as required under the provisions of the equipment lease purchase agreement dated February 28, 2014 between the district and Zion's First National Bank.
Motion to approve item number 7.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Jaggers,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Wallstad.
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. Item 8, board to consider and take action on a motion approving the renewal of the Qualified Zone Academy bond lease for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2024 as required in the provisions of the equipment lease purchase agreement dated September 1st, 2013 between the district and Zion's First National Bank.
Motion to approve item 8.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Jaggers,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Wallstad.
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. Item 9, discussion possible action to approve or not approve the following bids. A, Sinlon turf installation. Number 1, athletic indoor facility in the amount of $129,375. And the early childhood center playground in the amount of $8,000 paid from ESSER 2 funds. 2, softball bullpen in the amount of $23,000. Elementary school playground in the amount of $57,750. Futsal court west in the amount of $31,500. Futsal court east in the amount of $38,400. And futsal court south in the amount of $136,410 paid from the general fund. B, Green Shade Trees LLC for the softball concrete pad in the amount of $4,686.01. C, NX.net for administration West Marquee in the amount of $1,970. To High School Marquee option 1 in the amount of $34,696, or option 2 in the amount of $38,101.
So summarize a couple of things on there. The $8,000 you see, that would be new to you. That is at the ECC. We had that back alleyway where we have doors that go out of the ECC. We use that for fire drills or fire emergencies to exit the building. It has gotten real uneven back there, and so kids walking back there just didn't feel very safe anymore. And we don't use it often, but we do use it for emergencies. So we tried to level that a little bit. After we did that, that didn't work sufficiently. So we went back in and we had them quote us to put a little path that's like a very fine gravel path, not rocks, but very fine gravel path to put right up against the building. So if we do have an emergency, or if we want to exit there to go out to the playground, there's a real path that they can use, and we don't have to worry about kids tripping in. I mean, there's been holes and things that have formed over the years. So that's what that is. The concrete pad is at the softball field. They have a tarp that they roll up and put, but they leave it in the grass. And right now it has grass and weeds grow up around it. And so when they're trying to weed it, make that look nice, obviously you don't want that around a tarp. So this will give that space to put that tarp and keep it in good shape. And then the marquee information, one highlight on that says 34,600 or 38,100. The difference between those two is an energy saving package, and it says it will save just over $7,000 after 10 to 12 years. So that's just optional on which option. You know,
I saw in there Mr. Bond requested an audit on that or some additional information on that. I think he did.
Yeah.
So for the early childhood center, the walkway, that's not synthetic turf though. That's
No.
just rock. Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna make a boundary and then put some real fine, I don't know, pebbles or, that's not the technical term, but
Some kind of crushed
yeah, some
stone.
kind of crushed stone there that kind of packs it in.
So the 129 that we had already designated that with ESSER funds. We had talked about that a couple of times, I think, right? So that was,
Yes. We had,
yeah.
yeah.
And then
But
the
we hadn't
8,000 is
selected a vendor.
What's that?
We had not selected a vendor
Right,
at that,
right.
till tonight.
Yeah. And then the 8,000 is paid with ESSER funds as well.
Correct, we had enough for that as well.
We did.
Okay.
I have a number of questions. I don't want to be the one that one asking
Keep going.
Keep going.
questions. Okay. So
Same ones I have.
the softball bullpen, how big is the bullpen? Kind of curious. That's a big piece of
We
property.
measured it out there when we did the
I mean-
walkthrough, and there were a couple options. I don't know what option, I'd have to ask Michael what option he quoted, but, you know, we quoted one, cause, you know, they turfed a little bit out there where the baseball, you know, baseball throws and all that, but
Between the two fields?
between the two fields. So they turfed that a little bit in the spring, and then we looked at an option of, since the softball mound is closer, we extended that out. I don't know what the footage was like 20 feet in front of the baseball pitcher's mound so they were having to do like a concrete, you know, curb, and then the turf was to go inside of that. But then we also looked at just turfing the whole interior of that batting cage as well. So I'm not quite sure what one they quoted.
Is this on the east side of the softball field then?
It would be on the south side of the soft, kind of if you're outside left field, in between the
Okay.
walk. So like the walkway, you come in by the indoor. So it'd be it's a shared.
It's
bullpen
shared, okay. With
between. So it has baseball, but then it also needs a softball pitcher's mound there as well. So that's why it's a little bit larger area than just a little bit of.
And so does that include, I mean, is that just the synthetic turf, or is that are we pouring concrete in there? Is there a base foundation that has to be done? Is that all inclusive?
That's all part of it, yes, yeah. So that there's from what I understand, I don't know if they're gonna do a concrete surround around that, or if they're just going to do some sort of border around it and put the turf inside of it, but I'm not totally sure on that. But I know the way Michael, I was out there kind of with the pre-meeting walkthrough with him, and he specified there needs to be a border of some sort, and then that because there's got to be some way to attach the turf to the side, one side or the other. So I'm sure there is a border that goes around it.
But this number is completely inclusive of.
Yes,
Okay.
all of that. Yeah.
And then the playground. So as we look at the futsal court, as you walk in, all of the grassed areas that are inside of the fence would receive this synthetic turf. Is that correct?
That's correct. And where there's a double fence, there's a fence right next to the futsal, and then
Yeah.
there's another one closer to the street, it would include that area as well. So it's all the area, basically from the fence by the road, all the way back.
And how far does that extend? To the high school, I guess? I don't know if there's-
Well, just, it's between all those
Yeah,
buildings,
it's just
yeah.
the part right out here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
this-
whole area.
Yeah, that
Oh,
whole
okay.
area with the
Yeah.
basketball courts and down that side by the high school.
And so to put all of this turf down, we're looking at 57 and 31 and 38 and 136, right?
It's about 4.
I mean, the only reason I ask these questions is that area out there has been a very controversial area forever.
This area right here?
Yes, it's a drainage area, okay? And so when, you know, we did the thing with the Oklahoma County and built the futsal, and, you know, partnered with them and built that, and there were people that were like, how did you do that? That's a drainage area, and that should be a drainage area. So I guess I'm just saying, if we're gonna drop $300,000 on something that's gonna be covered in mud possibly, I don't know. I mean, when the rain
Right.
comes, and I have concerns about that. I don't know if anyone else has any concerns about it,
Is-
but I do.
Is that, I wondered about that too, Ken. Is that the plan, that once it's turfed, there won't be issues with mud?
So
Is
that's,
that
I think
the
that's
goal?
the goal, because
Okay.
there's a couple issues right now. One is when the kids play on it so much, there's no grass that's going to
Mhm.
ever grow. We looked at putting sod down,
Yeah.
but I
Just
mean, it's gonna just
destroy it.
go away. So it kind of becomes an eyesore also, but then also it just creates the mud. So we looked at options of even sand, like maybe sand would absorb more of that, you know, and be more functional, or let us get back on it faster. But that isn't gonna look any better, and probably is not gonna solve that problem. So the hope is that this would allow kids to play on it, keep it looking better as far as from the street level, but then also when it does rain, that will allow them to come back onto it sooner, because right now it's, you know, it just stays mud for so long that they're off of it for a couple weeks at a time with the rain. And now they're in the alternative to that is they're in the gym sitting in the bleachers doing nothing because they can't get on the court, because that's being used during the day by the high school. And so we have kids for long periods of times, pretty much any time it rains, and they're just sitting up in the bleachers, which is not ideal.
Yeah, we desperately need a place for middle school students, I realize.
It's not called the prison yard for nothing.
And hopefully it'll look
We've been
less
trying to get
like
away
that.
from
Yes.
prison yardy.
It would
And
look
that
better.
is a part of it, because we did look at options of how do we just make this look nicer. There's really not a great option for that with how much it's utilized and kids are playing on
It's
it
maybe
to
the
really
best
keep it
option.
nice.
I think for drainage though,
I mean, where does it, what's the preparation look like underneath it? Is there curbing around it, much like with you know, I mean,
So I know over here at the ECC, and then elementary was the same way. So they go down several feet, and then they layer it with several different things. So they layer it with gravel, and then they have a layer of sand, and then they have a layer of something else. So there's several layers that, I mean, they go down quite a bit before they even start building back up.
Mhm.
And so that allows the water to go through that and then dissipate into the ground from there. We did have a problem at the ECC, which is what we're kind of fixing here, where we put a border around that kind of trapped the water in. So if it rained hard, it would fill that up before it could dissipate out, but that we wouldn't have that problem out here, so.
How long would it take to install all of this? So the playground would obviously be closed for the time during
Right.
installation.
I don't know if I've heard a timeline on that. We would certainly look to do it at a time that it was, you know, not being utilized. I will say they're very quick. So the elementary playground, they were very quick. The ECC, they've been off and on. That project's taken a little bit longer because we had to take the playground units, do some things with it, then the turf company had to come in and do some things, then the playground company, so they were just swapping back and forth time, so it'd be a lot faster than that even. But they are pretty efficient with how they get it in. I don't have a timeline on that. I don't know if anyone's heard a timeline, but we would just try to time it where it's not being utilized as, you know, as much as possible.
and then on the high school marquee, is there you know, it's $4,000 more, or a little less than 4,000 more, but then in theory, over that time frame, we should save some money. But, so, you know, depending on how long this equipment lasts, you know, if we have to change it out again. I don't remember when it was first installed, or that last one was installed.
Which,
At the high school, yeah.
Oh,
Do you remember when?
been a
I think it's been a while.
yeah. Well, was it when they built the high school? No.
no. And the actual sign itself, I believe, has been replaced at least once to kind of like we're doing here,
Yeah.
denser pixels, because they have better LED.
Yeah.
But I don't remember last time. It's been at least, I think, 10 years
Okay.
since the last time we redid that LED. Pretty sure.
I was trying to look back at the email from Mr. Mont, but I believe he recommended the $38,000 option when he was sending emails to us trying to
Oh,
catch
okay.
up,
He did.
catch us up
Okay.
on things, so.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense. Okay.
Motion to approve item number 9.
Second?
With
With the
option 2.
option 2 for the high school marquee.
There you go. Second?
Roll call vote.
Jaggers,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Wallstad,
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. Item 10, discussion possible action to approve or not approve the following renewals, contracts, agreements for fiscal year '24. A, education affiliation agreement with University of Oklahoma Health Sciences Center. B, Bullet Destiny renewal in the amount of $3,952.56. C, sports medicine and athletic training services subscription agreement with Norman Regional Hospital in the amount of $30,500. D, the St. James Martin Luther King Classic participation agreement. And E, United System Fileway renewal in the amount of $5,890. Did something change on the St. James Martin Luther King? Because I could have swore I signed one a month or two ago.
I don't think we ever actually approved the contract, did we?
No,
No,
this, we
it's
haven't
just
approved
a
that.
contract.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is-
Yeah.
That's things like they can take pictures and things.
Maybe it was our commitment to do it.
I think
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and trainers, same as you
Mm-hmm.
prior year, right?
Yeah. And United Systems.
Do what?
And United Systems.
Always. Motion to approve item 10.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Jaggers,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Wallstad,
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. Item 11, discussion possible action to approve or not approve the following out-of-town, out-of-state overnight trips. A, senior class 2024 trip to Branson on Friday, May 17th through Saturday, May 18th. B, high school softball to attend the Perry Tournament, August 17th through 19th, 2023. C, high school softball to attend the Weatherford Elk City Games, September 18th through the 19th, 2023.
Motion to approve item number 11.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Jaggers,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Wallstad,
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. Item 12, discussion possible action to approve or not approve the high school having a half-day of school on April 19th to accommodate students for prom. And I think that's due to a date change.
That is correct.
Yeah. Quick question on that. I wanted to ask this question last time when we approved this, and I let it go, but I just was curious. What I remember is that it was all about the cost, right? It was significantly more for it to be on a weekend, a Saturday night versus a Friday. I just know that in the spring, we miss a tremendous amount of school. There are a lot of school days that are missed due to different activities. And this has been another day that we're taking off. And so I was curious if anyone knew, if, you know, maybe someone that was putting the prom stuff together, if we knew what was the money difference? How significant was it?
I'm not sure. I could text and probably find out here. So
Well, traditionally, it was always on
Yeah.
Easter
E-
weekend,
Yeah.
and we would take Good Friday. We
Friday.
already had Good Friday off, so they didn't miss school.
Right.
And I'm looking at Easter, and it looks like, on 2024, it looks like it's probably earlier
Mhm.
or later, what I'm, or maybe it's not on my calendar.
There was, yeah, there was some conflict with that Easter weekend. I don't know if it was the venue or exactly what, or because it was so late. I don't, that we'd get into playoff stuff for some of the sports, possibly.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I was just,
I know.
you know, curious, what are we trading for a day at school? From a cost standpoint, I mean,
Oh,
kids are going to the prom, they're going to the prom, I think, I mean,
Well, it's just for high school. It's not
yeah,
district-wide, so at least there's that.
right.
Easter's March 31st, so it's early this year, so I
Oh,
guess maybe
okay.
that was why,
It was too early. Yeah.
yeah.
I think having Mr. Jewell, you know, here, we can have conversations and see for future reference if that's something that, to get those answers for ourselves, you know,
Sure.
and be able to make those decisions, so.
Yeah, I couldn't
we'll
tell
have
you
that
why
conversation.
it was like that. It was
Yeah.
emotional before I got there. I know it's I'm not saying it's strange, it's just unique. I haven't been in a place where you have a half day off to go to prom. You go to prom, you go to prom. It's after school or it's a Saturday, whatever it is, you pay the money. And tickets are a little bit more expensive, so instead of $50 or $60, you just make changes. So we'll look at that for sure next year.
Yeah, again,
I think-
I voted to approve it at that meeting, but I just,
I
once it
think
came back up, I
it's
was curious.
traditionally, it's been Good Friday weekend. And so we had the day off anyway,
Right.
but
So again, something we can look at for the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
So, good.
And would people just skip the day altogether?
Well, so I think it's two,
Might affect
it's two
absence.
Trying to
questions,
keep
when do you
it
wanna
from-
have it? And then I think in the past, we've decided to do it on a Friday because of the weekend costs, things like that, and then it's deciding, do you give a half day for that? Which I would say from conversations, I think, you know, the students and their parents do appreciate that half day for preparation. It's a special day, preparation, and, you know, all the things that go into that. So I think the first question of Saturday, weekend versus Friday night may be the biggest question, and we can certainly explore that for future reference.
I mean, this is kind of a one-off, I think. Normally, it usually works out. It works with the Easter break. So I think this was just kind of an anomaly.
Once every 4 years.
Maybe.
well, well,
Six
I
or
think
seven, I
so-
don't know.
probably
Yeah.
in past years, my guess was we did Saturdays when it was like this. But the cost of those venues, just like the cost of your trips, have just gone nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think it's valid though to try to keep kids in class as much as
Oh,
we can, so
I
I
agree.
think it's a
Absolutely, it's a
valid,
good question.
valid question.
So do I have a motion?
Move approval item 12.
Second,
Roll call vote.
Jaggers,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Palmer,
yes.
Wallstead.
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. Item 13, proposed executive session to consider appeal of a denied student transfer, review of confidential education records, and transfer request of students whereby disclosure of any additional information could potentially violate the Family Educational Right to Privacy Act 25 OS Section 307B7.
Motion to go into executive session?
Second?
Roll call vote.
Jaggers,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Wallstead.
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. During the executive session, only the members of the board were present. Only items discussed were that listed on the agenda and no votes were taken.
Vote to accept, motion to accept the decision of the superintendent to deny the transfer request of student A.
Second?
Roll call vote.
Jaggers.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Wallstad.
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. Item 15, proposed executive session.
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Jaggers.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Wallstad.
Yes.
Pettit.
Smoke. Smoke break.
Just breaking in the bathrooms.
It's a meeting in the ladies' room. Sorry, Mr. Jordan.
During the executive session, only members of the board and the superintendent were present. The only items discussed were those listed on the agenda and no votes were taken.
Move to approve items 15 through 31 as listed on the agenda.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Jaggers,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Wellstad,
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. New business,
No new business.
informational item.
So we have our back to school convocation, August 14th. That'll be in the BFC atrium. Hope you'll be able to attend.
What's the time?
It starts at 7. The breakfast starts at 7:30, and it'll go
7:30,
till
okay.
about 9:30, just before that. Looking forward to welcoming back staff that day and starting off the professional development days that we have. Of course, we also have the OSSBA COSA conference on August 24th through the 27th as well. So looking forward to attending that with you guys as well. That's all the informational items.
Okay. Board member comments.
Well, I have a few things to say. In my last meeting, I enrolled my first child here 20 years ago this week. 2003 was my first experience with Bethany Public Schools, and it's been great. I moved here in 2010, and I started with this board in 2011, so this would have been my 12th year. I've been privileged to be part of 3 bond projects, 3 principal hires every site, 2 superintendent hires, and I think I've added up, I probably attended over 150 board meetings in that time, and I just want to look at each of you and thank you. It's really been a privilege to serve with you all. We've had some challenges, but it's just been great. And I wasn't sure if I would get emotional about it, but I am. I'm just so grateful to have served here. It's been a privilege and a blessing, and there just really isn't any place like Bethany. And so I just really care about each and every one of you, and I just wanted you to know that. So thank you.
I would just say thank you, Heather. It's been an honor to serve with you, and you've done a fantastic job. You've always been a voice of reason and thought-provoking, and thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll second that. Thank you for all of your years of service, and it has been great serving with you.
Thank you.
So I appreciate you.
And I've been on here the least, but I've enjoyed my time with you and got your bathrooms done.
I
so-
did. We still don't have, still not quite there, but
Close to being done? Yeah.
So the Heather Miller
Memorial
Memorial Bathroom.
kind of like at that stadium over on 23rd at Taft. They have them like in every corner. That's what we aspire to, yeah.
Yeah. And I served with you the longest. And
Me and Les, yeah.
we did have some tough ones, but we had a lot of good years, and I think we've impacted a lot of students very well.
I think about that. I think about this campus, how much it's changed in the 12 years, the 11 years. I mean, it's just so great. And I agree with you. It's been, they didn't get to, they didn't get the crazy guy at the board meetings. They missed all that. We did have some really interesting times, but they're good. And I would agree. I think the great far outweighs some of the challenges. So I take that away.
You will be missed.
Thank you. I'm going to miss you all.
Superintendent's report.
Thank you. So I want to celebrate a few people. Central office staff has done a great job working through a lot of transition down at that part of the building. Have really rallied and come together to work well and accomplish some things that needed to be accomplished for school to be ready to go. Want to highlight the business office as well, Mrs. Lloyd, Ms. Massey, Dr. Jasper, and Dr. Schellenberger as well, in their role for managing the business aspect of school. I would tell you, I did not expect this, but we had purchase orders ready to go on the day that we expected them to go out in a normal year. And in this year, that was a pretty amazing feat. So I just commend the business office for allowing us to be ready to get the things purchased that we needed to moving into the year. Also want to commend extended school year, summer reading camps, STEM camps, and all of our sports camps as well. Those summer programs are great for our kids to stay engaged with the school, and they do a great job running those. Also want to commend our interview committees and all of the staff that serve on interview committees during the summer, all the staff who have recruited and help us to recruit staff. We are mostly fully staffed, and that's not something that any one person or a small group of people does. It takes a large group to do that. And then we have paint crews and custodians and maintenance crews who have got this place looking good, ready for school to start as well. So I want to thank them. Also want to make note of our extracurricular activities. We have softball, volleyball, cross country, football, pom, cheer, and band, all kicking things off. I think softball had their first game tonight, and it was looking good in the first couple of innings, so I hope it ended that way. But our coaches have also done a good job of accommodating for the heat. We know that it has been hot, and I want to let you know our coaches have done a great job of making adjustments to routines and schedules to make sure that our kids are safe. Our schools, each site has done a great job with their back to school scheduled pickups and class list postings and all the things that are going on. A lot of families are starting to return now to get some of those things taken care of. So thank you, principals, for just having a school year ready to go again with all the transitions that have occurred. I do have some construction updates. We didn't have them come and give a specific update. A lot of it were things that you already knew, so just want to let you know the things that you had approved. Those things are going fine, and some change orders are going fine. We do have some potential changes that I do want to let you know of. These things will probably be talked about at a future board meeting. One is parking lot drainage. When we adjusted for all the drainage that we had issues with, what will happen is it will go out into the parking lot, which is better than what we had before, but we will need to find a way to address that. They are right now looking at some options for us to look at down the road. So just know that may be coming to get that water to flow out of the parking lot and into the street drains. We also have a roof drain rerouting that they're looking at. You have stacked roofs, and so that water goes from one roof to the next roof, and they want to make sure that that water is able to drain off of the roofs effectively, so they're looking at options to make sure that that's happening. And then one of the walls that they had to move affected some of the ceiling tile and some of the flooring in that room, and so they're looking at how to correct that or make that look good again. So those are all some things that they may be bringing some new charges to us next board member that they're right now looking at how they could manage those and some prices on those. The list, the schedule of that is we had our punch list meeting today. It was a very basic punch list. There's still a lot of things to be done, but we will take occupancy of that on Thursday, the 10th, and then the additional restroom, that will be October 20th, so that'll be a little bit before we are able to get in that, but the classrooms will be able to utilize those for the start of school. And then I would like to let you know that we have Friday Night Lights this Friday, great community event, so I encourage everyone to come out to that. It's the first scrimmage in pads. We also have Junior Broncos who are going to be able to come and do some different things with that as well. And of course, Swallows will be serving food there for families to be able to get. So it is a great community event and something I think will be worth everyone's time. And then of course, the first day of school is August 17th. And we feel excited and ready for that first day of school. It's always the most exciting day of the year. We've got the band and the cheer and pom and all those lined up to greet kids and welcome them. And I know teachers are anxiously awaiting them to return. And then finally, Ms. Miller, just personally also want to thank you for 12 years of service. You said there isn't a place like Bethany, and I would tell you you're a big part of why we're able to say that today. So thank you so much for all that you've done. Again, you mentioned some tough times. everything that we decide on here and that you decide on as a board affects what we are able to do with kids every day. And so for 12 years, you added up the meetings. That's a lot of hours. I know that. And so I know the commitment that takes. And for someone to do that for 12 years, just to volunteer that time is very special. So thank you for making Bethany a special place to be.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're adjourned.
Hi, I'm Heather Williams. Good to see you though. I know. Good to see you. I know, but it's sometimes I got shirtless eyes. My wife was crying. I have to come back for your last one.
Yes, thank you so much. Hi, Heather Williams. Very nice to meet you.
Oh.
Good to meet you. Come out. Thank you. How'd it go? Dr. Mills.
I like to watch
Oh, when you came over, yeah.
What?
Got through it, didn't we? Congratulations.
Yeah, I've been
I knew it was
He knows.
and I
You
knew
know how we've been supporting
she's
it.
gonna play
Sounds
for
like
all of it.
there's a lot of things in place. Dr. Mills. It's all gonna be great.
Hey, I got the agenda and I got to the end where I actually speak and I'm like, that's not enough time for me. So I had to back some things up. Like, oh no. We gotta stop. I had. Is there an over under on that?
I'm done.
You're done.
Awesome.
I'm
Thank you so
gonna
much for
hold
the
on
last
strong.
2 months.
I'm gonna hold on strong. I'm gonna hold on strong.
Congratulations. Excited. Yeah, we're excited.
And I know.
It's a new crew. and
That's right.
Lots of great ideas.
There was a moment I had to pause a second. There was a moment I had to pause. That's what I'll do. There you go.
I'm moving on and you guys will.
Thank you so much.
All of the minutes?
Do I need to
No, that's me.
That's you? Okay.
Super excited.
Yeah, all the ones that say sign here.
That's right. That's right.
What we can do for all kids,
Where did you like it?
All right, thank you.
It's here,
You're gonna miss out on some Dr. Jasper.
I won't be here I can't be here.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
You're all ready for high school?
Yeah, breakfast. I already told Dr.
And she told me so last week on Monday she said, so this is mine, I'm starting my 3rd grade. So that's how I